Hello, I'm Dawn Milne from Ivey's Department of Communications and Public Affairs, and I'm here with Associate Professor Nicole Haggerty to talk about Ivey's new Service Learning in Africa elective course. Nicole, why focus on Africa for this course?
Well, Africa came to our attention when Paul Beamish launched the 39-country initiative. And the focus of that initiative is to make the Ivey Case Library available for universities in the 39 countries in the world who have the lowest GDP per capita. The result of that was we identified about 32 of those countries, of 39 countries, are in Africa. Once the case library was made available, there was many more business school faculty who became aware of the material that we had, that they could start using cases in their business education. And a lot of universities in Africa are looking to enhance their management education programs to achieve sort of international standards. And they understand that case-based teaching is a major innovation for them to adopt. So that was happening, and concurrent with that was more African faculty asking for our cases, also contacting us and saying they don't really know how to teach with cases, and could we offer them any assistance in that area. So while that initiative was going on, I started thinking about the opportunity to go into Africa and figure out a way to, on the one hand, help address the needs of our colleagues in African universities. At the same time, I wanted to be able to offer our Ivey business students an opportunity to learn more about the business context in Africa. So what's happening in Africa right now is I think universities are sort of one area that are feeling the pressure to develop management talent because there's a great deal of economic growth there. They start from a very low platform, but at the same time, in the last 5 years, 6 of the top 10 growing economies by growth rate are located in Africa, not India, not China. And a lot of people are quite surprised by that. The prediction is that over the next 5 years, 7 countries with the highest growth rates will be located in Africa. So Africa is really on a turning point in terms of its economic growth. And many of the countries there are feeling the need to develop homegrown talent that understands their local context and that can help further economic development. They understand that it's trade and not aid that's going to make the difference between their economic growth rate, alleviating poverty, and things like that. So I combined those things, and we created a service learning program in Africa that's going to take our students there, have them teach, demonstrate teaching cases for business decision-making skills at partner universities. Our students are going to write business cases with local businesses. Faculty at the universities will learn more about how to teach with cases. They'll be able to see it happening and decide how to build it into their own initiatives. And we're going to undertake some research as well with small businesses. So our students are going to get a fantastic experience.
What's involved with the course?
So the course is designed to have sort of 3 components for our Ivey students. Our Ivey students do pre-departure training. They'll do week-long, full-day course before they go. And that course will involve them doing cross-cultural training. I will be holding workshops for them on case teaching and case writing. We know our Ivey students, our fourth-year students, are excellent case learners. But what we have to do is sort of turn them around into the front of the classroom instructors and get them to understand how to teach with cases. So they'll do that. And then they'll also learn how to teach the cases that I've designed for the course that they're going to teach to their African peers. When they're done their week of training, they leave, and they'll be 5 weeks in the field in Africa. So the first week, that's the second part. The first week in the field involves orientation and getting acclimatized to the culture, the economy, and to rethink some of the teaching ideas we had here in light of some of the things that they're going to learn. Then the next 3 weeks of their time in the field, they'll actually every day, once a day, be delivering an Ivey case as part of a course that they're offering to students at our partner universities. And those students at the partner universities will sign up voluntarily. They'll earn a certificate, and they'll complete 3 weeks, the 3-week course that our students deliver. And then the final part of our students program is they'll come back to Ivey, and we'll have some class sessions where they'll be sharing their experience through videos, through the cases they wrote, and through some of their own reflections on what they did and what they learned while they were there.
How will the course help Ivey to develop globally focused business leaders?
Well, I think that's a really important goal that our school has, right? To develop global business leaders who understand their communities and things like that. From my perspective, I think there's lots of different ways that you can try and develop cross-cultural skills in business leaders and try and create truly global thinkers. One is you offer international business courses here. Great start. And people will learn about international business, but they won't necessarily experience it. Another level is that you can take students on study trips. And we do that. We take students on study trips to China, to India, to South America, to Israel. And those are great experiences. You actually get to go to the country. But the reality is that you don't really get to experience the country in quite the same way as more enriched opportunities. You tour around, you see it, you travel with your friends or people that you know. And so it can still be a pretty safe kind of experience. I think the next level up is exchange. I think exchange opportunities and study abroad opportunities are great ways for students to actually have more long-term experience in a country. But the risk is if those aren't managed really well for critical thinking and critical reflection, really all students are doing is replicating a North American experience but in a different time zone. I think what service learning does uniquely is it requires students, first of all, to engage with the community that they're in, to sort of leave the safety of what they know and are familiar with, to do work. Our students will be doing work both with their fellow students in the partner university, but they'll also be doing research work where they're going out and reaching out to small informal businesses through studying the informal economy in Africa. In some countries in Africa, 80% of the GDP of the country is performed in informal ways, people who don't pay taxes. Our students are going to study that. That's something that I don't think we in North America really understand, an economy where 80% of revenue generated isn't taxed. I mean, how do you provide services there? Our students are going to learn about that. And then they'll also write business cases. So they'll be face-to-face with a business leader in Africa, somebody who's running their own business, and they'll write an African business case and teaching note with a faculty member there. So in many ways, service learning really deeply immerses students in the experience. And part of their requirement every week will be to engage in critical reflection. What are they learning in terms of personal growth? What are they learning in terms of cross-cultural skills? And what are they learning in terms of their academic knowledge about business? And I think the difference we'll see when they come back is, as business leaders, they'll have had first-hand experience with what goes on in business there. And they'll have spent a significant amount of time. 5 weeks is a relatively long time. These are really unfamiliar places. We're taking students to Kenya and to Rwanda and to Ghana. And so they're quite different from the typical places that we've taken students in the past. And I think the end result is Canadian business leaders with a far richer sense of the global environment, certainly in terms of developing countries and in terms of what's going on in Africa.
Thank you, Nicole.